Hey guys, Max here with another monthly update, this one for the month of May 2016. As always, the first order of business is to let you guys know that there is a new episode of Great Levels in Gaming now available over at the Achievement Hunter channel, and you'll notice that there is a link to it in the description and an annotation on screen, both of which will take you over to that video if you want to take a look. You guys already know, those of you who have been around here for a while know that I really love Cave Story, and so I was very happy to find a reason to go back and talk about it some more. This one talks about both the Last Cave and the Labyrinth, which are two levels that I absolutely adore. So it was a lot of fun going back to those levels, playing through Cave Story again, and really just having a blast the whole time through. Second order of business. Over the weekend, I saw some buddies of mine who convinced me to jump on the bandwagon and finally pick up Overwatch. I actually had not played any of the betas. I just thought it looked really fun and had heard a lot of good stuff. So I was like, you know what, have you guys played it? And they were all like, yeah, we've been playing it like 4 hours a night all week. You gotta get it. You gotta get it. So I did. And one of the things that has really struck me so far is actually the character design. I mean, that's not really surprising when you have such cool characters as like Mei and Pharah and Tracer and Torbjorn and all these really cool, really awesome heroes. But I wanted, a couple of them reminded me a bit of other games and frequently other first-person shooters. Like when I was playing as Pharah, it reminded me just so much of, you know, rocket launchering my buddies in like Quake 3 Arena back in the day, like on our computers at school, when somebody would like sneak in a thumb drive with the installer for Quake and they would, you know, install it on the network storage, and we'd be playing this constant back and forth battle with like the IT administrators at my high school. We would put the game on, they would scrub it away, we'd put it on again in some other place where we were sure they weren't going to find it, and they always did. So Pharah just was a huge nostalgia trip like that. Similarly, Torbjorn reminds me so much of the engineer from Team Fortress 2, and I'm sure I'm far from alone in that. He reminds me a ton of the engineer, just rocking all those sentry guns. And Mercy does the same thing with the medic. Her heal gun just reminds me so much, just at face value, of the meta gun from the healing ray from the medic in Team Fortress 2. And I haven't played a ton of the game, so I know that they're totally different, like on a deep level, but they aesthetically and base level mechanically, they remind me so much of it. Oh, and Tracer. Like, how could I talk about character design in Overwatch and not mention Tracer? She reminds me of this like wonderful hybrid between the Scout from Team Fortress 2 and, if you've played League of Legends, Ekko, the champion Ekko, because her E, that rewind, reminds me so much of Ekko's ult in League of Legends, where he gets brought back through time, he heals off some of the damage that he might have just taken, and does a burst of magic damage around him. And her E is a lot like that, except without a burst of magic damage at the end of it. And so it's just really fun playing around with these characters and trying it out, and I've really been enjoying it. So I'm sure plenty of you guys have been as well, and I'd love to hear about your experiences in Overwatch in the comments. I know I'm going to be playing it for a while. So moving on, I do have a question for the Ask Max segment. This one comes from Sam Whale. First off, I just want to thank Sam for the kind words about my series, because I always love hearing that it's had a positive impact on people. So if people are enjoying the series and tell me that they're enjoying the series, I'm always really grateful to hear that. Secondly, on to the actual question. Sam said, I wanted to know your thoughts on the Gears of War franchise. Am I a fan of the series, and do I think I'll ever do a Great Levels in Gaming about a level from it? And threw out a suggestion that personally he really, or she, Sam could be male or female, really likes the Berserker sequences from the first game, and which are awesome. I agree. But for me, my favorite part from Gears of War 1 was Act 2, which is where it's all dark and you have all the krill. And I actually have been planning for literally since I started the series to cover that at some point. I don't know when I will, but I do know that whenever it is, I'm going to have my buddy Lee come on, because he's always been the one to record co-op stuff with me. And spoiler alert, Gears of War to me is all about the co-op. I love co-op in Gears of War. So if and when I do get around to covering Gears of War, I'm almost certainly going to be doing it split screen with my man Lee. You might recall he was my split screen partner in both of the videos I've done on Halo. Halo 1 was all co-op, all split screen with him there. And then Halo 2, there was a little bit of co-op in which he was involved. So thank you for your question, Sam. I definitely am going to be covering Gears of War at some point. Not sure exactly when, but one of these months, I'm sure I will. And I'm looking forward to doing so. For those of you guys out there who have been watching, I would love to get your questions for the Ask Max segment. As always, you can send them to greatlevelsingaming@gmail.com with Ask Max in the subject line. And just let me know what burning questions I can answer for you. Be they about gaming, be they about anything else, about beer. If you've been catching my streams over on Twitch, I always try to have a new beer while on the stream to sort of have something interesting for the 21 and over crowd in the US, or 18 and over, whatever your region's alcohol laws are. Excuse me. So I would love to get your questions over at subject line Ask Max over at greatlevelsingaming@gmail.com. And actually, since I mentioned the streams, that's another point I wanted to ask you guys about. Is I've been streaming a fair amount over at not a fair amount, some over at twitch.tv/maxbarnyard, and I've been having a lot of fun doing it. And one thing I've started doing is recording the streams on my computer as they go, and I was wondering if that's something that you guys would like to get here on the channel. They're long, and frankly, between my 3 jobs, I don't really have the time to cut them down for you, unfortunately. But I'm wondering if, even that being the case, would you guys want the raw stream, like the full stream? Is that something you'd want to watch? For those of you who may not be able to tune in live, would you like to watch these streams after the fact? So let me know in the comments. Hopefully not too many people just enraged that I'm not able to cut those down for you. I wish I could, but I just have a ton of time already dedicated to my full-time job, my part-time job, and the video production for Great Levels in Gaming, and for you guys. I'm not gonna stop doing these monthly updates though. These are absolutely big for me. I love chatting a bit about game design with you guys and getting your questions and getting the chance to answer your questions. So these are not going anywhere, despite my saying how busy I am. I am very busy, but I am not too busy for you guys, because I love you guys. But that's it. If you have any questions for me, again, at greatlevelsingaming@gmail.com, Ask Max in the subject line. I'll be trying to get a more stable streaming schedule over at twitch.tv/maxbarnyard, and let me know if you'd like me to start uploading the streams post facto here on YouTube. Thanks for everything, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.